Beware, this house is cursed. If you dare to step inside, be careful what you wish for. It was 1968 when Helen Acton sold her home in Grapevine, England. She moved into her retirement home and left the house empty until she could figure out her next move. That's when local Dr. John Salas and his wife Margaret spotted the for sale sign out front. They immediately fell in love with the stunning property and its sprawling gardens, so they offered Helen £10,000 for it. But Helen refused. Helen never took the couple up on their offer. But then something very strange happened. She had a vision. In her dream, she saw a woman dressed in white standing in the garden. The woman begged Helen not to sell the house to the Solly sisters. She told them that if they did, the house would take everything from them, just like it did for her. And when they looked into the woman's face, Helen was shocked. It was her own face. Then she woke up screaming. She tried to brush off the dream, but then it happened again. And then again, and then again, every night. The visions always ended the same way. The woman in white would appear and beg the Salases not to buy the home, so finally Helen relented and agreed to sell the house to them for £10,000. But the couple didn't know that the house had a dark secret. As soon as they moved in, things started going wrong. There were arguments, fighting, and screaming. And Dr. Salas couldn't take it anymore. He went to see his GP, who prescribed him tranquilizers to help him sleep. At first, the pills helped, but one night he had a horrifying dream. He was standing in the garden, and the woman in white appeared and disappeared in front of him. Then he woke up and his wife was nowhere to be seen. Found her in the garden, drenched in water. She had been crying and screaming all night. When he asked her what had happened, she said she had a terrible dream about a woman in white, the same dream that he had. Things went downhill from there. Soon after, Margaret became pregnant, but unfortunately she suffered a miscarriage. Once again, she had dreamed of the woman in white. This time the woman appeared in her dream and reached out to her. Margaret felt an icy cold touch on her stomach, and then she miscarried. The couple decided to leave the home and return it to Helen. But when they got back to the house, they couldn't get in. The front door was locked and no one was home. Called the police, and when officers entered through a window, they found Helen dead in her bedroom. She had passed away in her sleep. The couple grieved for Helen, but they were so traumatized by the events that had taken place in the house that they decided to leave Grapevine forever. When new owners moved in, they heard chains dragging metal moans from within the walls. And then, the ghost of a woman in white appeared to them too. People reported seeing the woman standing by the fireplace in the drawing room, sitting at the kitchen table and pacing the landing on the first floor. The ghost was so frequent that people stopped taking the stairs and only walked around on the ground floor so they would run into her. It wasn't long before the apparition drove another resident insane. A young girl who was staying in the home during the war was playing in the garden when she saw the ghost. She screamed for help, but no one came. The girl ran into the house and hid under a bed until the ghost disappeared. That's when her mental state began to deteriorate. She started hearing voices and talking to herself. Eventually, her condition was so bad that she had to be sent to a psychiatric hospital where she spent the rest of her life. There was also a terrifying figure seen roaming the halls. It looked like a tall, thin man wearing old-fashioned clothes. Visitors and residents alike reported seeing him looking out of windows and standing motionless in rooms. Some say he was the original owner of the house, Thomas Cubitt. He built the mansion in 1837 and lived there with his wife Elizabeth. The couple never had any children, and it's rumored that they sold the house after Elizabeth died. But no one knows for sure. Others say the man in white was a servant who worked for the family. It's believed that he was murdered by German soldiers during the war, and now he haunts the house, looking for answers. The worst part, though, was yet to come. Throughout the years, anyone who stayed in the home experienced terrifying events that defied explanation. Sometimes people were pinched and scratched, and other times objects would fly across the room and smash against the wall. One couple even reported seeing a ghostly dog running through the house. That's when paranormal investigators stepped in to try and figure out what was going on. As soon as they arrived at the house, they knew it was haunted. They said the energy was so heavy that it was difficult to breathe. As they explored the home, they learned that many of the ghosts were trapped there and some of them were angry. One investigator even claimed that a ghost bit him on the shoulder and drew blood. Another investigator said that she was thrown down a flight of stairs, but she was the only person on the stairs. Later, she woke up with bruises on her body. The investigators discovered that a little girl named Edith died in the home in 1943. She was playing in the garden when a bomb exploded and killed her instantly. Her body was never recovered, so her ghost still haunts the property. They also uncovered the story of a maid who was killed by a member of the British Army. She was only 19 when she was brutally murdered, and her ghost is still searching for justice. In 1989, a psychic reportedly uncovered the identity of the woman in white. She said the woman's name was Mary, and that she died in the home in 1918. But there are other stories that claim the woman's name is Lucy, and that she died in the 1800s. One version says that she was the daughter of the house's original owner, and that she was so distraught over her father selling the home that she took her own life. The other says that Lucy was engaged to be married, but her lover died before the wedding. She was so upset that she threw herself into the river, but her body was never found. So who is the real ghost? Sadly, we may never know. Since then, more than 20 ghost sightings have been reported at the home. Most recently, a couple was exploring the attic when they saw the ghost of a little girl staring at them. They tried to speak to her, but she turned around and disappeared. Many believe the home is cursed. The tragic events that have taken place here have left behind a dark energy that couldn't be cleansed. Even though the home has changed hands several times throughout the years, the ghosts remain. For those who dare to enter, be careful what you wish for. You might not be able to handle the truth. Now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below and let me know which scary story you want to hear next. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching.